Very good morning, dear students. How are you all? I hope everyone are doing good. So today we will be learning about chapter 2, that is Introduction to Windows 7. Chapter 2, Introduction to Windows 7. Already we have discussed some points in this chapter. So today first we will be revising whatever we have learned in this chapter first, and we will be learning some more topics in this chapter. Learning objective in this chapter is operating system. Already we have discussed some points about the in this chapter, and how to start the desktop computer. How to start the desktop computer and graphical user interface, icon, wallpaper and screensaver and power mode of a computer. So I want everyone to listen for this carefully and observe the pictures that is displayed on the screen. First let us learn about what is operating system. Already we have learned about operating system. For a computer, how the CPU is important, like that operating system is also very important. Without the operating system you cannot operate anything on the computer. This operating system manages all the activities of the other softwares. An operating system is a special program that makes a computer work. Without operating system we cannot work anything on the computer. It has abbreviation as OS. Operating system is shortly called as OS. It must be in every computer. Every computer must contain an operating system in order to run program. Okay. Operating system acts as an interface between the user and the computer. So if you want to interact with the computer, without the operating system you cannot interact with the computer. So operating system, it acts as a interface between bridge between the user and the computer. First, whatever we want to give the input to the computer, or if we want any output from the computer, first we will give the input to the computer through any hardware devices. So operating system will take our input and gives us to the any application that has to perform, and result will be displayed for us. This is the working of the operating system. So it acts as a interface between the user and the computer system. So it performs the primary tasks like identifying the input devices and taking the input from the input device. In the image you can see here on the screen, you can see the image from the keyboard. Whatever we are typing to from the keyboard, the computer takes the input. This is the task of the operating system, to identify the input. If I am doing something on the mouse, so it will identify, okay, mouse is doing something, mouse is pointing somewhere, so I have to take the input from the mouse, or from the keyboard if I am typing something. It has to take the input from the keyboard. So first it needs to be identified from the input device, which is the input devices that I have to take the input. Then sending the output to the output devices. So it will identify the output devices and sends the output to the output. If it should be displayed on the monitor screen, it will display on the monitor screen. Otherwise I have to take any printout. So first I need to mention the printer name, then only I can take the printout. So it has to identify the printer also. Like this, it should identify the output devices also to get the output. This is the work of the operating. Next we have, under operating system, we have different types of operating system. Some of the popular operating systems are Mac-DOS, MS Word and Unix, Linux and Mac OS. All these things are the different operating system. MS-DOS and MS Windows, Linux, Unix and Mac OS. We have learnt already why we are using Linux, or why we are using Mac OS, or why we are using MS Windows. All these things we have learnt in our last class. So if you don't know, I want you to go to that video and watch it again and listen for this class. Next we have user interface. User interface is a space where user can interact with the computer. Like humans, how we should interact with the computer. This can include display of the screen or keyboard, or from the mouse we interact with the computer, we give instructions to the computer, or we get output from the computer, like from printer or from the monitor. This is known as user interface. It also way through which user interacts with the applications or the website. Some applications like Word, PowerPoint or Excel, all this we will be using, or from website. If I want any information, I'll search for the information. This is known as user interface. Under user interface, we have two types. That one, first one is character user interface, that is CUI. CUI stands for character user interface. Next one we have GUI, that is graphical user interface. Graphical user interface. What is character user interface? In the olden days and all, when the computer was introduced, everything that we have to give the input to the computer in the machine language. After that we get a programming language. So if you want to on the computer, if you want to take any printout, so you have to give all the commands to the computer. Then only computer can understand what you want to tell for the computer. So this is known as character user interface. Everything that should give in command line user. It is also known as command line user. We have to give a commands, or we have to write the codes. If I want to start the computer, so I have to write the code for start the computer. If I want to open any Word document, so for that also I want to write a code. If I want to take any printout from the computer, for that also I have to write the code in the computers. Then only computer will understand, or then only computer will identify what I want to interact with the computer. So this is one of the difficult way that humans faces, because for everything you need to write the commands, or if one comma misses, if one full stop misses, or if one braces misses, one parenthesis misses, everything just goes wrong. So this is another way that is little difficult. This can be the acts, this can have text commands managed. We have to give all the codes to the computer that computer needs to start, or if we want to give any input to the computer, by commands only you have to interact with the computer in character user interface. Like this, you can see in the image right here on the screen, it is displayed like this. They have to write the commands. Next, another type we have. This can be easily learned, but this character user interface will be used by many programmers who develop the programs, or who develop the applications will be mostly used by programmers. Next one we have character user interface. Character user interface is nothing but it is graphical user interface. Graphical user interface, in the name only says graphics. So graphic, when you see any image, you can identify, okay, this is this only. If you are having any gallery in your phone, you can see gallery, you have one logo in your mobile, and for WhatsApp you are having another logo, for opening, for sharing you are having this symbol. These are all known as graphics. For one you are having one graphics, or one logo, or one icons. Like this, if it is like that, it is very easy for us to identify which has to be open, which has to be closed, and it is very user friendly also. Graphical user interface contains windows, menus, icons and pointers. These are known as graphical user interface. This can be used by normal people also, not only programs. When we compare this to character user interface, character user interface is very difficult for the normal person, or if someone is using the computer for the first time, it will be very difficult for them to use the computer when they has to write the codes and all. When we compare this to character user interface, what happens? Yeah, just go click on start button, click on all programs. You can, if you want to open any Word document, you can open a Word document. Otherwise, if you want to see any videos, you can click on video, video logo, or video app or video application, and you can open, you can see any videos. Like this, it is very helpful for the beginners also, and it is very easy to use. Normal people can also nowadays everyone are using this graphical user interface all over. In ATM machines also we have graphical user interface. Everything that will be just to click the buttons like this. This is known as graphical user interface, and you can see here this is represents the graphical user interface. The windows, and you can see Word documents, you can see Chrome. All these things are the graphical user interface. So you can see here some of the images. To click OK, or the pointer, or the file, or to play any video, we have a button. This is known as graphical user interface that represents graphics to open any application. Otherwise you need to write any codes if you are using character user interface. What is difference between, can you see the difference between graphical user interface and character user interface? Yes, graphical user interface uses all the images, all the logos or the icons, where character user interface, commands, codes, this will be used. If one full stop, one comma misses, whole programs goes wrong, and what you want to do in the computer does not. You should know, you should be thorough with what you will be doing in the character user interface. And some of the examples for user interface include computer mouse, remote control, visual reality and ATM machines. And most of the computers will be having operating system as Windows. Windows is an operating system developed by Microsoft Corporation. From the Microsoft company, this was developed in USA. For us, personal computer or the desktop or the laptop, most of them will be using Microsoft Windows. Microsoft Windows was, who is the founder of Microsoft Windows is Bill Gates. He is the one who is the founder of the Microsoft Windows. You can see his image. In Microsoft Windows also we have different versions: Windows 95, Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows Vista and particularly Windows 10. At present we are using Windows 10. The latest version of Microsoft Windows is Windows 10. Why we have chosen Windows or Microsoft? Yes, it is very easy to use and it is graphic based. For that particular reason, in all the laptops or the personal computer or desktop computer, the Microsoft Windows is there as an operating system. Programs are arranged in a different files. For PowerPoint, one file; for Word document, another files, and we can create our own folders or we can create our own files in this. It has icons which helps the user to access whatever the data that we need quickly. So Microsoft Windows is chosen as the operating system in the most of the computers or the desktop. Fact bite: the first edition of Windows operating system was introduced in 1995. The first operating system of Windows was introduced in 1995 and was called as Windows 95. Already I told we have different versions in the Windows. The first Windows that they have introduced is Windows 95. And another common operating system that we used for Android devices, that is our mobiles or the tablets or handheld devices, or Android and Linux. These are the most commonly used operating system, and we have another operating system as Apple also for iPads and Apple phones. We have learned what is operating system, what is graphical user interface also we know now. Then we know the difference between character user interface and the graphical user interface. Now let us learn how to start the computer, starting off a computer. Before you have to on all these things, you should know how to start the computer, right? First, we all know that computer is an electronic device. First, computer will run through the electricity. First, we have to remember, we have to on the main switch, the switch that is connected to the computer. You can see in the image, here I will on the switch first. Then second one, we know that we have a uninterruptible power supply, UPS. Second, we have to on the UPS. If your computer has UPS that is connected to the CPU box, you have to on the UPS. And third one, you have to on the CPU box that beside monitor you can see, right? You have to on, for the third step you have to on the CPU. Then in the fourth step you have to on the monitor button. Then only your computer is on. Then it will display the screen like this, Windows XP or Windows 7, if you are whatever your computer or whatever your laptop contains. This is known as booting. This process, the starting of the computer, is known as booting. When you see this screen on the monitor screen, or when you see on the computer, this process is known as booting. So in this class we learned what is operating system, how about the different versions of Windows, graphical user interface, character user interface, and how to start the computer. So I hope everyone have understood this class. If you have any doubts, we can discuss in the discussion class. If you have any doubts, please note it down on a paper, because you will forget when you are having doubt. Please note it down on in your classwork or in your homework book. When I take the live classes, you can ask me your doubts there. Thank you. Have a nice day, students.